Alright guys, welcome to your Algebra 2 Honors class. We're going to start with 1-1. Notice that we're going to start with something you should already know, which is the order of operations, which is known to you as PEMDAS. Alright, notice that normally this we call parentheses, but this is also any type of grouping symbol such as a bracket or a parentheses. Then you have exponent, multiplication, and division, which actually hold the same place as you can see on step 3. And then finally you got addition and subtraction, which actually holds the same place. Alright, so if you have any addition and subtraction, make sure you go left to right according to this order. Alright, so let's go straight up to exercise number 1. Alright, so in exercise number 1, notice that on here you have this exponent first of all, but you have this grouping symbol, the parentheses. So you're going to have to do what's inside the parentheses first. And again, I'm going to take this real slow, so if you want to fast forward, you can. If you think you already know this, feel free to do so. Alright, so that's where we're starting. Then after that, notice that we have to go with step number 2, which is evaluate all powers, or the exponents. So we're going to have 2, and 2 to the third power is going to be 8. And then we're going to subtract 6. Now that we have an addition and a subtraction, we're actually going to do it just left to right. Okay, so we have 10 minus 6. So that's going to be equal to 4. Obviously, you can probably get to that point faster if you like. I'm just showing you all the steps. Now, on number 2, same thing. We have, notice that if you look at everything, you have an exponent here. So we're going to evaluate that power first. So we have 25 plus 1/4 plus 18 divided by 2. Now, as you look at this again, notice that you have a division sign, so you should do this one first. So now you will have 25 plus 1/4 plus 9, and then after that you're just going to add from left to right. Right, notice that if you add 25 and 9, that's 34, so that's going to be 34 and a quarter or 34.25, so whichever one you want to write. Alright, moving on to number 3. On number 3, same thing. Look at it, look at all the symbols, and notice that you have an exponent here. You should always do that first unless you have the grouping symbol. So we're going to have 20 divided by 4 plus 6. Alright, notice that again the one that is going to go next is a division sign. So it's going to be 5 plus 6, and that's going to be 11. Now on here, if you have some kind of fraction symbol like this, you're going to do everything in the numerator and then do everything in the denominator and then just go from there. Alright, so on the numerator, notice that you have a division sign right there. So I'm going to do that first. So I have 6 plus 9 divided by 3 is 3. And that's just going to be 15. Just going to rewrite all of that, and there's nothing to this after that. You're just going to have to add everything in the numerator, add everything in the denominator, and just get the answer from there. So that's going to be 24 over 6, which is going to be equal to 4. Okay, so on the next one, on 5 through 8, you can use a calculator, but we're going to recommend that you only use like a 4-function calculator and or the calculator on your phone. So just use this one, alright? Try not to use anything other than that, because on the quiz and test, that's all you're going to have available to you. Not your phone necessarily, but just a 4-function calculator. Now if you can do it without it, then great, do it without it. So for example, in this one we're evaluating. When we evaluate, we're going to go ahead and plug this for C, and we have B here, and we have D right there. So we're going to plug all that in. So we have 4 squared minus 1 over negative 3 minus a negative 1/2. Notice that I wrote a parentheses here because I know that when I subtract a negative, this is going to become positive. So this is going to be 16 minus 1 over negative 3 plus a half. So this is going to be 15 divided by negative 2.5. And obviously we all know that negative 2.5 is the same thing as 5 over 2. It may not be that obvious, but if you don't know what that is, then just you can ask us in class, alright? So now this one right here should be 15 divided by negative 5 over 2. And if you remember from back, I don't know when you did this, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, I have no idea, you would keep, change, and flip. So you're going to keep that one. We're going to change this to a multiplication sign. And then we're going to flip this one. So this would be 2 over negative 5. negative 3, so that's going to be a negative 6, just like that. Alright, well, I'm going to skip number 6 because I don't want to do it. But actually, no, I'm going to do number 6. I'll take that back. So sorry that I wrote all over that, so I'm just going to write it like this. So on that one, you have 8.2 over, notice that 8.2, I got that from here, that's what A is. D is negative 1/2 plus 6, B is negative 3, and C is 4. And then if you really wanted to, since I told you can use a calculator, you can have 8.2, and we know that 1/2 is 0.5, right? So we can divide that by 0.5, and I can actually do that for you. So you can do it like that. The only difference is that this is going to be negative. So this is going to be negative 16.4 minus 18 minus 20. Right, if we add all that, then we have negative 54.400. That's the answer for that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the back. If you have any other questions about those two, you can ask me in class. Now we're going to go through the dreaded word problems. Right, now before you roll your eyes and or shut the video if you haven't already, alright, notice that a lot of these problems in this curriculum at least, they're actually very simple. All you have to do a lot of the times is just plug stuff in. Alright, so please read the problem. Please read the problem before you ask us any questions, because these are actually very simple. All you have to do is read it, and a lot of the times they give you the formula, and all you have to do is plug it in and get that back. Alright, so I actually hate to read this out loud, but I will. For a science experiment, Sarah counts the number of breaths needed for her to blow up a beach ball. She will then find the volume of the beach ball in cubic centimeters and divide by the number of breaths to find the average volume of air per breath. Okay, that sounds difficult. But if you look at question A, it says her beach ball has a radius of 9 inches. First, she converts the radius to centimeters using the formula C is equal to 2.4 I, where C is the length in centimeters and I is the same length in inches. How many centimeters are there in 9 inches? So really all you have to do, since you're looking for C, this right here would be I, that's the length in inches. You just have to plug that in. So we have 2.4 times 9. So grab your phone or a 4-function calculator and then multiply that times 9, and that's your answer. So 22.86. I think. Let me check my answer. Maybe I'm wrong. Nope, it's right. Alright. Alright, and the next one, same idea. We have the volume of a sphere is given by this formula, which you should be familiar with because you just came out of geometry, I assume. Whereas V is the volume of the sphere and R is the radius. What is the volume of the beach ball in cubic centimeters? So we're looking for the volume. And pi, they're asking us to use 3.14. And then we have the radius cubed, and they want that in centimeters. So this is the number we're going to be using. So we have 22.86 cubed. And then we're going to plug all this in our calculator and get the answer, right? So assuming you have a calculator, this would be your answer. And we're gonna if we're gonna have something that has decimal points, all right, please try to round it to 3 decimal points. Right, finally on C, Sarah takes 40 breaths to blow up the beach ball. What is the average volume of air per breath? All right, so we want to find average volume per breath. So notice that this is the volume. .630, and we're going to divide that. So we have, in case you don't know what I'm doing, we have total volume divided by number of breaths. That's perhaps the most boring science experiment I've ever heard. But anyway, so we're going to divide this by 40, and if we do, we're going to get something like 1250.366. Let me let me check here with Miss Shelton. Is that right? All right. Okay, and I'm not going to do number 2. Number 2 is actually even easier if you actually read the problem. All you have to do is plug in that 170 for W here and here, and plug it in your calculator and you get the answer. All right, so I hope you get used to it. Remember, we expect you to watch this lessons ahead of time so that you're ready for the homework the next day. All right? Well, good luck.